Don't even know what to say at this point.
I don't even know what the topic is at this point.
Okay, you find out. It's about having a conversation. Like, I feel like it will take too much away from it if we already know the topic beforehand, you know? Because then you come too prepared, you know? It's not fun. Just want to catch everyone slipping. Anyway, just random questions, yeah. What's your most used emoji?
Probably that one that's like, you know that
Yeah.
that one and the
Oh, the cute one.
Yeah, the cute one.
Oh, you just did it a little bit, you know. What about you?
The 100%, the 100 one. Yeah.
He was too. Okay.
No, because I was thinking about it. Yeah, I use that all the time. And the thumbs up.
Oh yeah.
Obviously the brown hand.
Oh, positive energy.
Yeah, not the yellow hand, the brown hand.
Okay. So your favorite emoji is the 100.
Yeah, the 100, that red 100 and the brown thumbs up. Because like, do you know why? Do you know why they're my favorite? Because usually some people say stuff to you and you don't know what else to say. So it's like, yeah, 100. You know what I'm saying? Or just thumbs up. Like, I don't want to continue the convo.
It's kind of like, you know, when you message like someone that you maybe have some sort of like connection with, and then like you say something long, and then they respond with that emoji.
Yeah,
I personally love that. Like, said no woman ever.
No.
It's too annoying. No wonder that's your favorite emoji.
Yeah.
Obviously, just like simple, straight to the point. You know what I'm saying with that? You know what I'm saying? It's
my God,
Gucci.
I thought you would have used the crown.
Nah.
She called you a king.
Nah,
basically.
just that's it, man. It's cool.
Mine's the laughing face or the crying face. I'm either laughing or crying. Two extremes. Yeah.
But the crying one or the laughing crying one?
The laughing crying one and the crying one.
Oh, okay.
Those are my most used emojis. What did you have for breakfast, Mike?
0.
No shade.
That's why I have no energy for fighting today or arguing or anything.
Well, we don't come here to fight.
Man.
We come here to straighten.
Listen, bro.
What are we gonna do now?
Listen, on this podcast, it always goes a bit left.
We need a man
innit?
to attack.
It always goes a bit left, but today I'm just gonna try and be very humble and normal. You know what I'm saying?
So normally you're not humble or normal.
Moving on.
Anyway, what's the best book that you've ever read?
The Woman That Went to Bed for a Year.
What's it about?
It's about this woman that do you know what? Yeah, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to sound that way, but I'm just going to repeat the title back. And it just sounds rude. You know, when someone's like, so what's it about? And I'm like, it's about a woman that went to bed for a year. But it's literally about a woman that went to bed for a year.
Yeah.
And then I think like her husband started having an affair. He like built a shed in the back garden where he would like sleep and stuff. And her twins were like crazy hackers, and they went off to uni to be all these hackers and stuff. She met this like black guy with dreadlocks who was like fixing up her room because she refused to like get out of bed, and then they fell in love. She got like married this black guy.
Did she get married in her bed?
No, he gave her the courage to get out of bed.
Why was she shook to get out of bed? Like, what did she think was gonna happen?
I think she'd got into like a loveless marriage, and like the guy bought her lottery tickets for her birthday.
No, that's trash.
That's funny. But what if she won the lottery? She would have been happy.
So that's trash.
You scratch it first.
If she become a millionaire, she would have been
scratch
happy.
Scratch it first. No, you scratch it first, and if it's won anything, then you give it to
Yeah,
me.
that's a good idea.
That's
still.
the equivalent of when girls give like boxes
still.
as presents.
Oh my God.
That's that.
Or like
equivalent.
the Lynx pack.
Yeah,
No.
Lynx pack.
No. That's rude.
Well, that's a good idea still.
What?
Oh, lottery ticket.
But
then am I gonna give?
Yeah,
Hold on, if you win the lottery, are you gonna give it to her?
Yeah, if any guy gives me a lottery ticket and I win,
it's all mine.
You won't know, bruv.
If you win,
You won't know, bruv.
How would you
Because
know?
he won't give it to you, bruv. He's gonna keep it. He bought it, so it's gonna be his lottery ticket. If he gives it to you, that's the next thing, innit?
There's no trash man on this planet that's gonna buy you lottery tickets for your birthday and not hand them to you with pride.
But if it's a winning ticket,
There's
if it's
no
a
guy.
winning ticket, if it's a winning ticket,
No, but
that's
a
what I'm
guy
saying.
that's dumb. I'm not saying there's a guy that's dumb enough to buy you lottery tickets. he's going to give them to. He's not going to think, oh, what if she wins?
That's true.
He's just going to hand them
what
to
she's
you.
saying is that you should scratch it first.
You scratch it first to find out.
Yeah, that's for a smart person, and a smart person.
That's what I'm saying.
A smart person wouldn't buy anybody lottery tickets for their birthday.
True. Fair enough.
Nah, unscratched lottery ticket. That's a bit mad still.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
here's
mad.
happy birthday. That's
And then if she wins, and then what?
Exactly.
yeah, then
Buy
you're
it.
gonna be like, oh, let me have some of that. She'll be like, fuck yeah.
No. Yeah, and what,
I
what
will
about
laugh at you. I will laugh at you.
you? I actually will just delete your number.
I'll
Thanks
give you a
for
pound.
the
Deep.
ticket.
How much was the ticket? £1?
Yeah, I'll
£1,
give it
innit?
back to you.
I don't gamble anyway. I wouldn't know about
I'll
them
give
things.
it back.
I don't do gambling, bro. You know what I'm
What
saying?
about you? Do you read or?
Yeah, I read one book, some sick book in it. Well, I didn't really read it. It was an audio book. Yeah, Outwitting the Devil.
What's it about?
It's about like how you conduct yourself in your life, how you use your time wisely and stuff like that, and why a lot of people fail in life. And it's like a very eye-opening book. The audio book's like 3 hours long.
That's not bad.
That's not bad,
Yeah, it's not that bad.
is it? I
Yeah,
thought that was extra long.
Like a Bollywood movie is like 3 hours.
Yeah, I don't watch those.
And I would watch those. So.
Is it?
Yeah, what's it called? Black Panther was 3 hours long.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's like
Lord of the Rings was like
yeah,
10
yeah,
hours.
yeah. But them things are all right. But like, I don't know. Like, but anyway, that book it was really eye opening. It makes you think about how you've wasted your own time in your life, and then it just clears your perspective on what's important, what's priority, what's just nonsense in it, and then you just do more better things in your life.
Such a difference in books.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, this comedy about this woman in
Literally.
Perth. Like, yeah, change your life. That's nice.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Sounds like a good book.
Yeah. Napoleon Hill was the author, some old white man.
Is he paying you to promote?
Nah, he's dead.
Okay, then you can actually promote. That's fine. Anyway, so the topic for today is don't overreact because it's actually not that
Why are you looking at me? I'll tell her not to overreact. Don't tell
because
me.
she's already been like,
I'm quite
what's
calm.
the topic? What's the topic? Same. I'm calm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm calm. I'm normal.
Breezy.
Toxic masculinity. Right? The reason why it's the topic is because
Go on.
You look a bit
energy.
energetic
You need
over
to take
there.
a break.
Bruh,
You know,
I'm still hungry.
You know,
That
like
last bit of energy, that little laugh there.
Well,
the
we're
last
gonna
bit of
suck
energy.
it out of you.
Ah, it's gone.
So basically, the reason why I wanted to discuss this is because I don't understand it.
No, do I?
Because I just want to hear everyone's opinion. Like, what is toxic masculinity? So, like, what is? Can you define toxic
I
masculinity?
can't define
I
it.
can't.
Neither
Can
can
you-
I. That
can
was a
you
short
define
video, wasn't it?
I think like it's like
We can go
an
online.
array of behaviors. I don't know if it can like really be defined like in a statement. That's what I would say anyway.
Yep.
Because I know I feel like I have an idea of what it is, but like you said, like I can't really like explain
Yeah.
what it is. But when I see it, I know it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I think of when I hear toxic masculinity? I think of like, men doing stuff that men have always done throughout time, and some females just feel like, like we've had enough of that. We want to change the whole system, and like some of these things that men have been doing from day one, they need to change and they need to stop. That's what I think of it.
I think that is a really good example of toxic masculinity because, like, why did
Oh, really?
Yeah, like,
Wow.
why did
Shocking.
you? No, but why did you make it? Why did you make it such a negative thing or such a thing about like men and women? Like, toxic masculinity can be men that are willing to fight men that they know can kill them for the sake of being masculine. Like, that to me is toxic masculinity. But you immediately brought it to this divide between men and women. And I don't really
Because the
understand
only
why you
Because
would
that's
do that.
what people define toxic masculinity as. Because when I tried to find the definition online, which was very hard, people couldn't even define it. But people were saying like toxic masculinity is when a man is using his masculinity in a toxic manner against a woman.
Oh, it's
That's
specifically
when
against a woman.
But
Okay.
there were different
bless you,
definitions.
What do you mean, God bless you?
Like,
Could
and
you
also it
agree
could
with
harm.
me?
It could be against themselves in a way, because when they say "don't cry, you're a man" and things like that. So that's toxic masculinity.
Yeah,
Apparently.
that's what I would have
And
taken
things
it
like that.
as well.
But apparently, some people say that it's against women, But is it just against women? That's why I'm like, can we just define this? 'Cause
Like, I've never heard the instance of a man accusing another man of you're being toxically masculine towards me. I've never heard that in my life. It don't exist, bruv.
This is it. I said I know it when I see it, and it's here.
Is that toxic masculinity what I just said?
It's patronising. Like
Patronising to who?
to women.
I never said anything about women.
Are you sure?
I just said, when have you heard a man saying that another man is being toxically masculine to me?
How do you not hear yourself when you speak? Because like you're like, oh, toxic masculine. Why did your voice do that when you say toxic masculinity? Like it's really patronising.
Because
I don't talk like that.
To who?
Olivia doesn't talk like that.
To who?
You are the only person in this room talking like that.
okay, wait. Let's just not argue, yeah?
No, it's not an argument. It's just like why. Like that's why I think. Like I know it when I see it, because I don't understand like why you have that sort of caricature of a woman when there's two women sat here that are being quite graceful.
If you listen to the words I actually said, I said, when have you ever seen a man saying you're being toxically masculine to me? What has that got to do with women, bruv?
You're trying to imply that women say that, though. Like that's
your
the
interpretation.
point.
That actually
No, it's not
implies-
my interpretation.
That's your interpretation.
Don't gaslight. Just be honest. What you're implying is women would say that, and that's where the toxic masculinity comes in.
Okay, what I'm implying is complaining, bruv. So when people think of when people complain, they usually, why are you complaining? You're whining. It's usually like that kind of energy, like you're complaining. It's not necessarily
women
just
whine and
women. If a man is complaining, you could do the same caricature for a man
You
as
just
well.
said that men do not. So if we're talking about this specific topic, you just said that men do not whine and complain about toxic masculinity. But you're
from
saying
another man.
But you're saying that you're implying that women whine and complain about toxic masculinity, and that in itself is toxic masculinity, because you're not actually even.
But you can't
you're not
even
even
define
open.
it, though.
You're not
Yeah,
even
well,
open.
you
You
define
can define it. So you something that you can't. Hold on. Something you can't define.
We went off a definition for the sake of the conversation, which was toxic masculinity against women. And
to start off with,
and you being patronising in your tone of voice when describing things that women like to whine and complain about, even though we might have reason to whine and complain about, is toxic masculinity.
Can I ask you a question? What is toxic masculinity?
wait, okay, guys, wait.
That's simple.
He just doesn't listen.
Because I feel like we should go. This conversation should be led by the definition that
That
we're
we're
going
going by at the moment.
Yeah,
We haven't gone by any definition.
Yeah, we did. We spoke about how I found a definition online saying that it's a man using his masculine traits in a toxic way against
Towards women. That's the point that we're speaking about now.
I'm gonna find the definition of toxic masculinity, and then we can base our conversation off of that. Because I'm scared.
I'm actually perfectly fine.
Bruh, I'm the only one leaning back. Do I look scared, bruv? Do I look scared? Do I look like...
We're actually all
bruv.
leaning back.
Yeah, that's cool then. Everyone's calm, innit? That's it, bruv.
So
I said it first.
I'll start with Wikipedia, the most basic. It says the concept of... Okay, no, I'll just jump. Oh, yeah, wait. The concept of toxic masculinity is used in academic and media discussions of masculinity to refer to certain cultural norms that are associated with harm to society and to men themselves. So that's one.
And that was what I said earlier in regards to men that would willingly fight somebody that they know that they can't.
Yeah.
They know that they can't ever realistically win.
Why?
And that's toxic masculinity as well.
So is it just not accepting that I just don't want to be the lesser man? Because that can apply to women as well.
Yeah, so I think like obviously from the two definitions that we found online, there's basically toxic traits that men possess that are either towards society or themselves or towards women. So we can actually talk about those three things. So in terms of society, we could talk about like, well, not necessarily war, but like a lot of male leaders of countries do end up taking their countries to war. And that,
Because
to me...
stupid reasons. I agree with that as well.
For silly reasons. And I think that a lot of like what society is today is just really advanced human nature, like really, really advanced human nature, just trying to dominate, take over, all those things. And men have led that plight for a long time.
Okay, so like before we go on to, okay, yeah, no, I won't mention that yet. So this is another definition, and it says a cultural concept of manliness that glorifies stoicism. Stoicism is like
Is that like
where you don't want to be weak. I think it's the
or is it like being a
theory.
hero?
Yeah, like where you're never weak, right? Do you know about stoicism?
Yeah, I've heard
Where
of
you
such
just don't
things.
show weakness. I think that's
What does it mean?
I've heard of it. I don't know. You
How do you
can look
spell
it
it?
up.
Stoicism.
The definition is the endurance of pain or hardship without the display of feelings and without complaints.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So manliness that glorifies stoicism, strength, virility, and dominance, and that is socially maladaptive or harmful to mental health.
So, for example, like men are taught to not be as expressive or vocal about how they feel in situations. So, if you think of like men that are in relationships with women, and when they try to express themselves in terms of, oh, this is how I feel about this, or this is how I feel about that, it's not welcomed from our side. So that's a version of toxic masculinity and how it can affect men.
What it's like you just see it as nagging rather than this is a valid complaint.
Yeah, or you'll tell boys like stop moaning,
Yeah.
like if a boy fell down, like a boy child, if a boy child fell down, you like wouldn't pamper him because you'd be like, no, it's gonna make him weak. Like just you're fine, just get up. But if it's a girl child, you run over and you're like, oh, are you okay? Like poor baby and da da da. And that from like an early age, when you see that difference between the way boys and girls are raised, it's going to reflect on them in adulthood, and it's going to teach men to have to endure things that they probably don't really necessarily have to.
I agree with that because, like, that's why I wanted to say that. Okay, yeah, it's what we teach boys, what we expect of men, and then they start to embrace that when they're older, and then we call it toxic masculinity. Like from young, men are taught that they shouldn't, even in relationships, remove like from young, because as women we expect so much from a man as well,
Yeah.
but we don't allow them to express themselves emotionally because even we think it's like
Unusual.
it's unusual and it's they're supposed to take care of me and you're the one who's supposed to listen to me moan. I don't want to hear you moan. Like you shouldn't be complaining. You're supposed to take care of me regardless of whatever you're going through. Like they don't understand that men also have mental health issues and they're calling things like men being unable to express themselves as toxic masculinity when really it's society that put that pressure on or
Put pressure on them to be a certain way.
be that way.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
And like I feel like toxic masculinity is something that it's not something that men created. It's something that men and women created together. It's not just something that a man is doing. Like
it's the dynamic between men and women.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think that's
Do
what
you
it
have
is.
any opinion?
Yeah, what do you think?
As the only man here.
Basically, yeah, all this toxic masculinity talk, it's whatever, innit? It's whatever. I ain't got nothing to say about it.
But we're not against you in the conversation. Like my aim of the conversation is actually to just change because I hate when at the moment, right? I feel like if you go online and you try to find the definition of toxic masculinity, you can't because people just have the wrong idea of what it is. For example, if a man is saying, oh, take my jacket, I'm going to protect, or like, are you cold? Like, you can have my jacket, or, oh, don't worry, I'm going to protect you, or I'm going to walk you down the street. People actually call that toxic masculinity. But I was thinking as well today, why is it that women want men that are taller than them if you don't want them to protect you?
That's a good point.
Like, why do they want men that go to gym if you don't want them to protect you? Like, we are in denial. So, and also the next point as well is, I know I'm talking a lot, but you know.
No, but I'm
toxic. What is, if there's toxic masculinity, there's definitely toxic femininity, but nobody talks about that. And also, there are traits that, it's not like, we have to we are able to separate the masculine side of it and the traits. Like, we have to say, like, because remove the fact that you're a man. As an individual, you should be able to cry. As an individual, you should be able to feel vulnerable.
But I think that toxic femininity, like if you wanted to try and call it something, has been kind of like highlighted. I think that's why there is a word for toxic masculinity, because I don't think that, to be honest, like over history, I don't think men have been held accountable for their actions as much as women have. So there was like a period in the past where when it's going to sound random, but like when they first started inventing like vibrators and stuff, that was to supposedly help with women hysteria and like women having a mental imbalance and stuff like this. But I think that men have tried to like label the psychological downfalls of women, or like the toxic femininity traits that they don't like. So for example,
that's 100% true.
And that's why
they just don't use that word.
They just don't use that word, but they define a lot of you're just hormonal, you're just emotional, you're just this, you're just
that. That you're irrational. They think that women can't, like, they're irrational with their decisions, or like with
exactly. And I think that in itself kind of leads to this idea of toxic femininity, because if you did try to define it, you wouldn't be able to, just like with toxic masculinity. And there's things that women do to each other that are toxic as well. Like we're always competing with each other, or we're always trying to snake each other, like for a man or something. So I think it's just that, like I said, men have been able to define it for women, and we're trying to get them to take accountability. And that's why I think there's a word for it.
So we're agreeing that like women do things that hurt society, men do things that hurt society. So, and I agree as well that men haven't been, held accountable for a lot of the things that they do as well. I agree. But at the same time, like, I feel like we never address the issue, really.
Yeah.
Like, so how can we fix this problem, like, of toxic masculinity and toxic femininity? Like, where do we start? Since we're talking about toxic masculinity, where do we start? Like,
where do you think?
My honest opinion, and you don't have to agree with what I got to say, is that right now, in the current society we live in right now, I don't care about what happened before I was even born. I don't care. That don't affect me, bro. I care about right now. Right now, men are accused of everything, bro. Like, it's always men's fault for everything in current society, bro. So when people say, women in the past, this, that, the other, we don't live in a fucking past, bro. We live right now, bro. And right now, in the life that we're all living in as guys, as a guy, you have to tread very carefully, bro. There's so many traps and obstacles and pitfalls just as a guy that women just do not face, bro.
How can you say that you're not shaped by your past? Like, we're all shaped by the past.
Bro, what 100%. Happened? What was going on
what
before I was alive
is the reason
not.
Why.
Yeah,
but that's the reason why
I understand that.
Are in this position now.
I understand that. But what I'm saying right now, in the society we live in right now, with the way the laws is and everything set up now, it's in favor of women over men, bro. You can't say it's not, bro.
We know that.
In what aspect?
Bro, you lot spoke for long.
I'm asking
you.
I agree with that.
Everyone can see on the camera that they spoke for long, bro.
In the judicial system, and like just in society in general, I feel like women are they will always be favoured over men. At the moment, like.
So the only reason why I ask how is because there are a lot of women that would not agree. Like, there are a lot of women that would not agree.
Of course they're not going to agree.
No, wait, chill, relax.
Bruh, you not spoke for long.
Okay,
it's not about
you not spoke for nothing.
We only spoke for long because you were not engaging in the conversation.
When I started speaking, you lot interrupted.
I asked you a question to interact with the conversation.
And then when I was trying to speak, you carried on speaking and I let you speak. That's what happened. It's on the video.
Continue what you were saying. Continue what you were saying.
Go on, man.
Why don't you want to talk about it,
bro? Because there's no point, bro. Because at the end of the day, let's keep it real. Like, men are gonna be biased to men, women are gonna be biased to women. That's it, bro.
No, but
that's the truth.
We've been very level-headed in this conversation.
That's not where we're trying to take the conversation. We established that there's toxic femininity. We established that there's toxic masculinity. Because of identity politics or whatever, people use things wrongly. Like, they use it as a weapon against men. Men use things as a weapon against women. We agree on that. But then at the end of the day, there's still the issue of toxic masculinity, but we have to see it for what it is. Like, for example, if you had a son, are you going to tell him to not cry? Are you going to tell him to get up don't cry because you hurt yourself. Like that's what we're talking about. Like
Yeah,
there's toxic
that makes sense.
there's actually why do you feel like you can't cry in front of your girl? Why do you feel like, I'm not talking about you, but obviously some men feel like I can't cry in front of my girl. Some men feel like I can't cry.
It's shown as a sign of weakness.
Why is that a sign of weakness?
Because that's just the way it's always been.
So
do you not see how the past has shaped today?
Yeah.
By that statement alone.
Yeah.
So,
But there's laws that wasn't around that are around now that affect us now. So what difference?
yeah,
does
but
that
there's
we
make?
also-
agree with that though. Like
we do agree with that, but
yeah.
then it's not fair to say things like, oh, the legal system or whatever favors women more, because I guarantee there's a lot of rape victims that definitely do not feel that way. They just don't.
Right.
They don't.
And there's
how many-
loads of guys that are in prison because some woman said that he raped her and he didn't, bro.
I don't think there's as many as men that
You don't know that.
I don't.
You don't know that. You haven't done the
Wow,
study.
you
You haven't
don't-
done the study or
No.
the research to know that. You're just going off
you
of what we think.
You've not even let me land. So how do you know that?
Go on then.
There's a lot of rape cases that are not reported, actually. So I don't see how you can really sit there and roll your eyes when someone brings up a topic like rape, because that is one of the biggest issues that we face at the moment as women, actually trying to get so many times. I know so many girls that have had one sexual assault encounter, at least one, and they do not even bother to report it, because what's the point? What's going to happen to them? There cannot be a disparaging number of men that are wrongfully convicted of rape compared to women that do not even report it. That's madness. That is madness. And because you're not a woman, you maybe don't understand that, but it's not fair to say things like that. It's just really not. There are also a lot of men in America and all these other countries where if they have money, that's all that matters. If they have money to pay legal fees, they will get their kids. And it doesn't always favour the woman. It doesn't always favour the woman.
Doesn't always, but okay, I can understand what you're saying about the sexual assault, sexual crimes
And domestic abuse.
Okay, and
being stalked. I'm just saying, there's a lot. There's actually a lot. Although to be fair, a lot of there have been instances of men that have reported being stalked, and it's not taken as seriously compared
100%.
to
That's
a woman.
what he was trying to say as well. Like both of you have really valid points, which I feel like before we can even move on, you guys need to both acknowledge because I know that you probably agree with what he's saying, and he probably agrees with, well, not everything, but he probably agrees with some of the things that you're saying as well. But that's not where we're going. Where we're going is, like, for example, he's talking about like weakness and why men don't want to be seen as weak. Like, I agree as a woman as well. Like, I don't want to be seen as weak, but then their definition of weak is skewed. Like, it's not right. Like, why do you see crying as a sign of weakness? Like, why do men see that crying as a sign of weakness?
Men do not respect when they see other guys crying, because it's just weak, innit? It's like you can't handle reality. You can't handle real life. Like, you're breaking down.
But
like,
that's
you're
unrealistic.
not because you know why? When someone, the way it looks when someone cries, it's like they don't have control. Do you know what I mean? Like, they just I can't handle life. That's what it signifies. You know what I'm saying? Men don't respect other men that are weak, and women don't respect men that are weak either.
I agree with that. Women don't. We need to change both sides. Like, women need to respect men that are. It's not weakness though, because how can you expect that of somebody?
Soon.
How can you expect that of someone?
That doesn't mean that the conversation does not need to be had. The conversation needs to be had.
Like, how can you say that someone can't cry because it shows that they're breaking down? There's nobody on earth that doesn't go through stuff. That's unrealistic. If you're telling someone that you can go through this life without crying, without breaking down, they're gonna have a shit life. Because that's not real life. Like, where's the substance in your life if you don't have ups and downs?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the reality.
We just need to, like, I don't know. Why is that weakness? Like, weakness is if you cry and then you can't get up and you just keep crying every single day. But
okay, let me give you an example, yeah? Let me give you an example. You're out on the street with your man, yeah? And then some guy comes along and he violates you, and then your guy starts crying. What are you gonna think?
Yeah, but that's a bad example.
It's not a bad example.
That's so unrealistic.
You can be
violated how?
No. Let me finish, bro. Let me finish. You and your man
it can't.
Bro, you and your man are outside, yeah? Let's say violent. I'll make it even specific. You and your man are outside, yeah? A gang approaches you to rob you.
These are extreme situations.
It don't matter.
We're
It
talking
don't
about
matter.
okay.
It doesn't matter if it's
All right,
extreme.
let's hear it.
And then they come to rob you. You're scared. He's scared. But his fear makes him feel like, oh my god, I can't handle the situation. He starts crying, bro. Because in a situation like that, a girl could start crying, and nobody's gonna think, oh, that's weak because she's crying because she's scared. But if he starts crying, that's, bro, you as the female, you're gonna think, raw, like, this guy can't defend me. This guy's weak.
And that's a problem.
Yeah, that's what we're
That's
gonna
a problem
say.
as well.
That's what I'm
like
saying.
for example, I think that in that situation, like with the knowledge that I've acquired so far about toxic masculinity, now I wouldn't be
I'll be shocked.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't be shocked
I'd be
anymore.
like,
I'd be like, this
yeah.
guy is human as well. Someone's trying to rob us. Both
With
of us,
knives.
our lives
Like,
are
why
at
would you
risk,
not
right?
cry?
But
You mean to tell me?
that's
As of
why I said
now.
as of now.
As of
because
now.
there are people. If you asked me this a couple of years ago, I would have been like, "How
Hell
dare
no.
you cry? Like, are you stupid? Like, why would you
So
cry?"
what if yeah?
To me, if you cry, you might as well run. To me, that's how I would have thought.
Bruh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm like,
you might as well
excuse
just
me, I
leave
should
me.
be the one crying. I would have said that before, but now you're allowed to cry.
You're allowed to cry.
There's
Alright,
no,
cool.
but then
Alright,
I'm
cool.
saying the reason why.
So all you guys out there, yeah, when you get in a mad situation with your girl, just start crying. She should understand, bruv.
No, but then that's
What do you mean,
unrealistic.
no? You
Okay.
just said yes. bruv.
If you're in a mad situation, you're
No.
allowed to cry. But this is not. We're not
talking
anything.
about
This
everyday
example is not
scenarios, and
doing anything.
even when women cry at everyday
God.
scenarios that we might find to be like not traumatic, but we cry often.
This example is mad.
Yeah, we cry.
not mad.
We
It
cry
is.
often, and
not
you
mad.
and guys
It's
don't
not
even
mad.
and
That's
guys
what I'm
don't
saying.
even
It's not. You get
acknowledge.
robbed.
This
Guys
is
don't
something
even.
that can happen at any
But how
moment,
many
any
times?
time, bro.
How many times do you don't get robbed every day? But people go through.
You don't have to
everyday
get robbed every day.
So you're not teaching your son or a man how to be emotionally strong. Like they have no emotional. Not every man, but a lot of men just don't have that emotional strength. Because how can you say that you can't cry is a sign of that's the weakness.
Let
The
me
fact
tell
that
you one
you
thing.
can't even
Let me
express
tell you one
yourself
thing.
is a
Well,
weakness.
Let me tell you one thing. Like for instance, yeah, a lot of guys who maybe not like, the biggest guys or the toughest guys in the world, when they're with their girl, they feel like they are the protector of their girlfriend, bruv. So when they get into mad situations, it will just kick in that masculine mind frame of like, I'm the one that has to be tough and not break down and take control. It will just kick in, bruv. Whereas it don't really happen like that for girls. Girls usually want their man to protect them. It's okay for the girl to be like, oh, save me, protect me. Like, do you know what I mean? And that is because it's been installed in guys from when they were little to be tough. Like, if you fall down, don't cry, just get up. Just, just handle the situation. That's that toxic masculinity you lot are talking about from boys. So if the boys are conditioned from young to act just the same way as girls, oh, did you fall down? Oh, I'm going to hold you like a little baby. And encouraged to, just cry if anything gets on top for them emotionally, they're gonna cry. Bruv, who's gonna protect who, bruv? Because there will be some guys out there they will naturally be aggressive violators, bruv. Go on.
So no, I was just asking if you had actually finished. That's all. I just wanted
go on,
to say
go on,
something.
go on.
So what I think with boys, there's a balanced way that they can be raised, and I hope that it's kind of like our generation that will be able to raise like strong men that aren't overly emotional, that do stupid shit like gang violence or whatever. And I hope that they can be assertive when it's necessary. Because one thing that you find with like teenage boys, they're not always that quick to fight. Sometimes they're hesitant. Sometimes they're a bit, oh, like, should I not? Like, I'm a bit afraid. Like, watching things like Beyond Scared Straight, you can see that. Have you ever seen it? Like, they are actually terrified to fight these boys.
And they show it.
And they show it.
Yeah.
It's at that point when they're encouraged to go and fight that they kind of like, you're kind of like creating a sociopath. You're telling somebody, just do it once, and then when you do it again, it'll get easier, and it'll get easier, and it'll get easier. But really what you're doing is you're just creating somebody that doesn't know how to manage their emotions in any other way other than violence. So you can teach a kid it's okay to walk away from a fight if you don't want to participate. That's perfectly fine. And you can teach that and still feel still instill in him that he's still a man, he's made a good decision and he's walked away from a dangerous situation. Now, when he's older and he's got a girl and someone tries to violate, yeah, he might have to throw hands, but it's for a legit reason. And it's going to be a more controlled, he's not going to end up being a gang member. He's going to know how to manage his emotions properly and pick wise fights.
No,
it's just basically separating toxic from masculinity. They're two different things. Like you don't have to be.
But even
you don't have to be.
But what I'm saying,
people to be a,
but what
to
I'm
be
saying,
masculine.
even to have that thing in you, to like be like, I'm not scared, and if it gets to that point, I will do what I have to do. There's a certain level of toxic masculinity that has to be installed in there, bro.
Yep, I agree with that.
There's a certain level that has to be
With what you
installed.
were
I think the
before as
masculinity part, like what you said, but not necessarily the
I
toxic.
feel like what he's saying is that
I'm only saying toxic
like,
masculinity because that's how you said
the
when
word.
they're growing up
I
as
feel
little
like he
boys,
means,
like-
so for example, you know the illustration you used earlier, like when you're growing up, fair enough, a man can be a man now and he's a toxic male, yeah? But we have to acknowledge that when they were growing up, it's the process of the upbringing, the development that made them like that. So at that point, for you to make them not toxic anymore, or for you to separate being strong and fighting as being masculine, then you have to go and undo all the things that were done before.
Exactly.
Which we were like, yeah, we understand that as well, but how can we change that now? What are the things that we need to put into place now? Like, what would you teach? For example, can I ask you, what would you teach your son? If you want to teach your son, so if you want to bring up a child that's emotionally stable, that's strong, that's smart, that can make wise decisions, that's not weak, how would you how would you bring that child up? Like, what are the things that you teach that child?
Well, basically, it's just like being level-headed. Obviously, not thinking too emotionally, because this is the thing, yeah. Sometimes being too emotional can get you in trouble as well. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like if you're too quick to sometimes fear, because fear is emotion. Sometimes fear can make you do something.
Yeah.
People have killed people out of fear.
Yeah, yeah.
People have killed people out of anger. Those are emotions. That's not toxic. That's not toxic masculinity.
Emotional
you know what
health,
I'm saying?
basically.
Yeah,
A good
you have to be
balance.
emotionally balanced.
But
if you're someone that can't control your emotions, yeah, you could do anything.
So we've been saying the same thing. So what we need to teach men growing up is that there's a healthy way to challenge your channel your emotions. Because, for example, like we've said today, that it's not if I was out with my man and we were approached by like a gang, like really like extreme scenario, I would feel threatened. I'd probably cry, etc., etc. If I was there with my child, for example, I don't care how many guns are facing at me. I don't care how many somebody's going to get scratched, like at least. And if I have to throw myself at somebody, I don't care. So there are circumstances that are innate in us to actually protect other people, and that's what I would teach my children, men and women.
Can I go back to what you asked me though?
Okay,
about teaching a son.
Okay, go on.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah. What I'm saying is that basically learning how to control your emotions and being able to make logical decisions, like, do you know what I mean? So it goes into, you got to know when to what fights to pick, when to walk away, when you ain't got no choice, you're gonna have to do something. Do you know what I mean? But the most important thing is to control your emotions. Don't let what people say get to you. Like don't let people just shift you off your square. You know what I'm saying? Like that's very important, especially for black boys as well. Do you know what I mean? So that's
like with the things that you said now, I would not be scared for my child, my son, let me say, to spend time with you, for you to have influence on my child.
I think I'll be a good mentor.
The reason why, because like emotional, the problem seems to be emotional, like emotions, right?
Can I say one thing? A lot of the boys that are doing all this gang violence, they're overly emotional. That's not masculinity.
It's not overly. It's just they don't know how to control their emotions.
Yeah, they don't know how to control their emotions.
They don't know.
That in turn does make people emotional. When you can't control your emotions, like when women are hormonal, for example, they've got such a surge of hormones that they actually cannot control their emotions, and that makes them emotional. So, like, I agree with what you're saying, that a lot of kids that are involved in gang violence and stuff, they are overly emotional. Like, step on my trainers, I'm going to shank you. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
so
don't
Are you
do
looking
that.
at me for too long?
Yeah. Okay, then.
I used to be one of those.
But I think like one thing that is important to teach female or men and women, like girls and boys, I think it's really important to teach them that anybody that looks like they need protecting is worth protecting or worth trying to help. Because I think a lot of men are taught, or a lot of boys are taught, oh, you have to protect your sister, or you have to protect girls, and they will do,
100%.
and they kind of grow up like thinking they will do anything to protect a girl. And I'm like, if my son, I don't sound selfish, but if my son threw himself in front of a bullet for a random girl,
you know what? That's the smartest thing. Not the smartest thing, but that's one of the best things I've heard you say.
Sorry, like I don't know. Okay.
Do you know why? I had to correct that. I had to catch that, fam. But listen. Because I think that's a very good point. Because in society, even when you watch horror films, and I said this before, when you watch horror films and like everyone has to protect the girl, and everyone lays down their life to protect the girl. I'm thinking, what's so special about her? What about your life, bruv? You know what I mean? Like, if you're all trying to help each other, cool. But why is it a guy has to lay down his life just for some random chick? Like, I don't get that. And because I know it's a borderline
statement, and I'm just thinking, like, as a mother, like, part of me would feel obviously proud, like, oh my God, look at what my son did. My son's amazing. But deep down, I'd be like, why did he do that?
Can I ask you a question? So if your son was dating a girl he'd known for like 2 weeks, month or something, like
it's already a no.
And they got in that situation and he took a bullet for that girl. How would you feel about that? Would you feel like he was stupid?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Why?
Because why did you feel that you wanted? Why did you do that? Like, why? So
because he was trying to protect the girl.
Do you know what? Yeah, in that circumstance, I would find it hard to question, because I can't understand his feelings towards that girl. If it was a random chick, I'd be like, what was the need? Like, why did you do that? Because you've been taught from a young age that you have to go and protect women, protect anybody that needs protecting. I have a friend that
would you do that for your friend that's a boy? Like, if he would do that for his friend that's a boy, then that's fine.
That's fine.
I've never heard of a girl doing that.
No, I was literally just about. I was about to say my friend. She moved to Belgium. She said that she got to train station. She went for her partner to pick her up, and she saw these two men get into a fight. One of the guys knocks the other guy to the floor, and apparently their culture over there, like, everyone's really private. Like, no one gets involved in anything. So people were just walking past this fight, and she was like, what the hell? And then this guy started stamping on this guy's head. She ran over, pushed him, and then that's when people started breaking up the fight and calling the police and stuff. And she was just like, how could nobody come and save this person? Like, I don't understand. And they were like, oh, you're a girl. Like, why would you do that? Don't get involved. Yeah. She was like, I saw somebody that was on the verge of death and I had to help them. Like, and she's just always been that person. And I think that that's why it's important to teach, like, men and women, like, just do the right thing at the right time, regardless of gender.
And I want to ask you a question as well. Like, what would you teach your daughter so that she doesn't grow up contributing to toxic masculinity? Like, what are the things that you teach her?
Why are you laughing?
No, I'm just wondering.
Because
what you're
I feel like women also contribute to that.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd probably teach my daughter, like, his feelings are just as valid as yours. One. And yeah, I think that's the main thing that I would teach. Like, to be honest, that his feelings are just as valid as yours. Because I feel like this.
What? I'm not doing nothing. I'm just living my life, bro. I'm just living my life, bro.
And I would teach her to always make sure that she has her own. So one thing for me, I'm not saying that I don't contribute to toxic femininity or toxic masculinity or whatever, but I do pride myself that I don't need a guy to do certain things for me. Like, I just don't, because I've always had either my dad or I've had, like, really close family unit to help me with stuff. So I'd always teach my daughter, like, you only ever really need yourself, and his feelings are just as valid as yours. And I think, like, once a girl can kind of, like, get those two things right, her interaction with a guy will be so much easier. She won't have so much expectation from him.
Yep.
And she won't have so much expectation from him. And he will feel valued as well.
Yep. That's true. because in a lot of relationships, the relationship is always revolved around a girl. Like, let's not lie, and things like that. We need to change certain things, and yeah, I feel like I'll teach my daughter the same thing as well. Like, a man is allowed to be emotional. A man can cry.
A man is a human being, bruv. Just like
it's
you.
my daughter.
I'll say it. Say it.
Yeah, and just, it's that, I don't know, like the protection thing. I feel like,
can I say one thing
it's
though?
not a problem for me. Like, for me, it's not a problem, but I feel like it will trigger feminists. And I feel like it's in us.
No, the protection thing is a thing for me.
I feel like it's in men and it's in women. It's in women to feel a bit less vulnerable than a man. And it's in men to feel like they can protect a woman. I feel like that can take place in a non-toxic way.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you both acknowledge that, but then it has to be balanced as well, because you need to understand that if the man cries, he's human as well.
Yeah.
It's just that, because like you said, you have your child, there's going to be a point in time where you're going to be the weaker one. I don't want to say use the word weaker, but the one who the child would basically be the one to protect you at some point. Like roles can always like switch, but yeah,
definitely.
So just teach your daughters to just not expect too much from men, like you said as well, and because it puts a lot of pressure
on guys.
Guys, like, because you see, even if, why is it that, for example, if a woman is jobless, it's okay, but if a man is, like, it's a big thing. Like a man can't be at home for a year without a job and things like.
Have you noticed one thing? Can I say one thing? Have you noticed one thing? You don't really see homeless women, bruv.
No, I see homeless women.
Not really, not even comparable.
The reason why the government put a lot of, they want to house a lot of women. Imagine being on your period and you're on the road, like, that you're sleeping rough, like that's not. They have to.
That's sorry.
There's a little bit more priority.
This is what I'm talking about. Society, bro. This is what I'm saying. Society is geared towards protecting, looking after women. If you're a man, well, you know.
That's the topic of what we're talking about.
Why is it that? Oh my God.
I use a specific example.
Okay, anyway, I want to talk after you go.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, because the fact of the matter is that in our society, you know, men are just like put out there like, you know, oh, man up. This is that. I've never heard no one say woman up. Woman up term does not exist, bro.
No, the version of woman up is, oh, don't wear that top, someone's gonna rape you. Oh, don't, do you know what I mean? There's a version of woman up. Yes.
No, that's a different dynamic.
Oh my God, don't dance like that. It's suggestive. Like,
do you know what I'm trying to say?
There are versions of woman up.
When men tell other men to man up, get a job, or if you're broke, you know, just get money, You're saying that's the same as when women dress provocatively and people say
no, but I'm saying like there's a version of woman up as well. It's a different dynamic, and in terms of the homelessness, right? In everything, I feel like society as a whole, you have to, everything is case by case basis. Like, in terms of homelessness, yes, women have a little bit more priority because of the way their body is. They didn't ask for it. If they didn't have periods, there will probably be equal priority. Children, for example, who's going to let a child be homeless? They have more priority, and then women and then men. But that's not, I agree as well that in this society, yes.
Women and children first.
Yeah, but you can't.
That's what they say, the pirate ships.
Okay. So why do you think that is not like so terrible, but why do you think that is so terrible?
I don't think, listen, I'm a reporter of reality, fam.
You're reporting reality, yes.
I'm just saying how it is.
Do you know sometimes reporting reality means nothing?
Yes,
like,
because
I'm stating what is
progressive.
reality.
Okay, that's fine, yeah, that's fine. So if now, yeah, they were like, we don't care if you're a man or a woman or a child or whatever, at the end of the day,
whoever gets there first.
Yeah, first come first, get first. Is it going to fix anything? It's not going to fix anything.
First thing,
it's not going to fix the core of the, like, of the issue.
I feel like this, yeah. Like, obviously children, that's different. That's not even, because they're not adults, they're not fully developed, they don't know the world. Yeah, so they're not in this. But if you're an adult, bruv.
So who looks after children, please? Is it not adults? No, you can't.
I'm going off her example.
You can't just say that though. Yeah. Like, you can't just say, "Oh, we're going to keep children to one side." What, children raising themselves? Like they're going to be put with an adult, and that's most likely going to be a woman.
Like,
but do you know? Okay, yeah. No, you finish your point and then I'll
All
go.
I'm saying is, if you're an adult, you're an adult, and if feminism is all about equality, which I'm cool with
It's
that.
not about
Hold on.
equality.
No, but I'm saying
I'm not fighting for equality.
No, but well, that's you,
Well,
innit? But
it's-
what I'm saying, if
It's equal
we want
opportunity, we
everything
can
to be equal
to men. I don't
if-
want to be equal to a man.
and God bless you. But listen, yeah, what I'm saying, yeah, is if a lot of women do state that they want it to be equal, we want the same pay, we want all this, everything,
Yeah,
the same,
those are
which is
that-
cool.
that's not
I'm not
equal
even
to being
I
a
ain't got
man.
problem. You don't
That's
want that.
equal
I don't mind.
opportunities.
Yeah, but this is the thing.
I want things to be equal.
Opportunities. I want us to have equal.
We do not have to. This is
I don't
the
want to be
problem.
equal to
They
a
didn't let
man.
me
I don't
finish.
want
I hope
to
you
be
not see
doing
that.
Are
manly
you being
things
emotional?
or certain. I don't want to be equal to
Maybe.
a man. I just want equal opportunities. I want
I don't want to be the same as a man. I don't want to be identical to a man, but I can be equal to you. I can be your equal. We are worth the same.
I've still got my point. Don't worry, you guys.
Equal. I feel like it's dangerous to say
Chat too
equal
cold
to a
for me.
man because, like, it means that as a woman, we have our ways of doing things, and as a man, you have your way of doing things. Like being equal, they will expect us to do things. That's what some of these people moan about. They expect us to do it the way men do things.
So this is the analogy that I use. I think a lot of times people use the words equality and identicality interchangeably, and they're two completely different things. If you have a range and I have a Merc that are both worth 50 grand, they are equal in value. So I want to be equal to a man in value and in worth to society.
Yeah, okay.
And just in the same way, that's why we talk about men can cry. We don't teach boys that it's not okay to be weak or show emotional, because that is giving them equal chance to be who they want to be, or whoever they are meant to be, flourish to whatever standard. So with us, you can't. What is my point? Sorry, I'm waffling.
Like being equal to a man.
Being equal is not the same as being identical. So you can have something that's of the same value and worth, and it's not exactly the same. Even identical twins have different fingerprints. I don't want to be identical to a man, but I'm definitely worth the same. If we're both CEOs, we better be getting the same salary. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Basically, what she said.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with what you said. You
Okay.
lot, both you said. You said you want equal opportunities. If you both have a range and a Merc, it's equal value, and if you're both CEOs, you have the same pay. I'm cool with that. I'm Gucci with that. But if you become broke and bankrupt and you become homeless, and I become broke and bankrupt and I become homeless, we should have equal opportunities to housing, equal opportunity to everything. Because you lot said you want equal opportunity in society. This ain't about biology, bruv.
Okay,
We're talking about society and economic.
Can I just
bruv.
can I just respond? Can I just respond to saying that putting a man and a woman on the street, for example, and saying that we're gonna treat you both equally because you're just a man and a woman. It's not actually equal. So it's not equal to just say that, we're going to leave a woman on the street because we would do that to a man. The woman is actually in a you have to recognize with equality as well that there are differences in people being more vulnerable than another. Like you can't ignore that.
If you're more vulnerable, then you're not equal,
That's
bruv.
why I say
You are
equal.
just because you. So what?
That's why I like to say
Disabled people not as worth not worth as
I
the same
never
as
said
people.
not worth.
So
I
that's
said they're
my
not
point.
equal.
So that is the point, that you can't say that because somebody is more vulnerable that they are less equal. They're not as equal as you.
Okay,
If
so
I'm
let
more
me say
vulnerable
this.
being outside, then I'm more vulnerable being outside.
Let me say that. So let me say this. So if we both become CEOs, I should make more money than you, because if we
You're
both
not vulnerable.
Stop interrupting, bruv. If we're both CEOs, I should make more money than you, because if I become broke and you become broke, you are in a position where you have to be looked after before me because you're more vulnerable.
No.
That's
How?
not
How?
because
Explain no.
salary is determined on the work experience you have and the job that you are performing. Salary is not based on what might
can't
happen.
have it both
Salary,
ways. I
was gonna say-
salary,
Okay, wait,
salary.
please.
Your
I
comparison
disagree
is
with
so
that. I disagree
silly.
with that, actually. Salary is not based on just the job. That salary is based on the job, first of all, like the things that you're doing, and it's also based on your value, like your experience.
It's not
all these
based
things.
on you losing that job. That's my point. So
No,
you can't.
I'm just using that.
Oh, okay,
I'm just
You
what
can-
I'm saying, yeah. I'm not saying it as in basing. I'm not saying that you shouldn't get the same pay. All I'm saying is if you if you're gonna take the stance of, well, men and women are different, women are more vulnerable, that's why we should be more looked after in society. How can you say
I'm not saying that we should be more looked after. I'm
Then
just
what?
saying that you have to, for there to be true equality, you have to weigh up the fact that some people are more vulnerable than others. That is fact,
And then
and
what
that
do you
is
do
fair.
with that? Then what do you do with that?
And you adjust accordingly,
It's
and
case
that's
by
just the
case.
way
Then it's not
it is.
equal, is it?
Wait, let me tell you something.
It's not equal.
This is why I said-
If you've adjusted society because you've looked at it and you've been like, well, this group is more vulnerable, so we have to adjust society so that it's
That's just giving equal opportunity. It's not
Like if you're 6'5", if you're 6'5", and there's a wall that is 6'3", and there's someone that's 5'11", is it inequality to put them on something to see over the wall? No, you're making the field plane level.
Yeah,
so you
that's
have
what
to
I'm saying.
acknowledge that
certain
different people
things.
are vulnerable for different reasons. For example, women cannot realistically be left on the street because of periods, because of getting raped, because of things that men do
Let's
not even acknowledge.
Let's not even use women. Let's use two men. Let's say like a man got beaten up in an alleyway when he was 16, for example, and there's a man who's like mentally stable, he's fine, they're both homeless. If they both go to see caseworkers, I think that's who they see. The guy who got beaten up in an alleyway, who's got PTSD, is going to be prioritized over the guy who's fine because he doesn't have a fear of being on the streets. Do you get it? Like that's what. I feel like using the woman makes it sound like, because in our society it's always men versus women, so maybe if we explain it from that point of view, like
no, I get what you're saying, and I get your analogy with the wall thing. That makes it more like clear in my mind, because like the way it came across before, this is how
it's
it
because
sounded.
it's man versus woman. That's always the problem,
because the way it came across, we should get equal everything you can, but you know,
but
when we get homeless,
opportunity.
we should get housed and you lot can stay on the street. Man up. That's how it came across.
That's not how it came across. That's just how you took it, because I did explain it very neutrally.
Alright, cool. I just said I get your point, but obviously
I'm just saying that like it's.
All this.
I'm just saying that it wasn't me. I wasn't throwing men away. I was just saying that there has to be adjustments made for people that are vulnerable. That's all I was saying. I didn't throw away anybody. But thanks for agreeing with me. It was a good point.
Guys, this has been a heated conversation.
Bro, listen, yeah. End of the day, yeah. I love being a guy. Do you know why? Yeah, because it's man's world.
Oh, how can you end this conversation?
Yeah,
and on that note.
Do you know what?
And on that note, toxic masculinity will continue to reign.
Toxic masculinity, yeah, man. Trust me, I ain't getting violated.
Well, basically, my point, at the end of the day, my point is that toxic masculinity isn't only toxic masculinity. We're putting so many things under that term, and we have to remove all these things.
It's really a way of women saying that they're not happy with the way that men have been treated.
Yeah, and men also have.
And that's a fair thing to say.
They do that as well. But I feel like obviously we're rinsing it.
You look like you're trying to use the cute emoji.
Then go make your own society, bro.
We're not looking to make our own society.
Go and make your own society,
If you
bro.
don't like,
Did you actually integrate
do you know why?
society?
Do you know why? The way I see it, yeah. If you don't like where you're at, go somewhere where you'll be happier, bro.
But you're
or
complaining.
go create your own society.
Unfortunately, you
you're
can't go
complaining,
anywhere.
bro.
Unfortunately, we
complaining.
can't go anywhere.
Bro, then boy, you're gonna have to
What do you
man
mean
up,
go and
bro.
make your own society? You're actually crazy.
You're gonna have to man
He
up, bro.
said make your own society, bruv. I'm actually confused.
Yeah, bro. Go make your own. What's it? Amazon Wonder Woman Island, bro.
No, that's not.
And
No, we're not
reproduce
doing
how?
that. We're staying.
I don't know how you're gonna reproduce. That's a personal problem.
Anyway, guys, we don't need toxic masculinity on earth, and we don't always have to rinse it. There's toxic femininity, like we said as well. And yeah,
talked about that briefly.
men are, but that's not the topic of the day. That'll be a topic for another day.
can't wait for
Men
that
are
day.
toxic, women are toxic,
I'll
men
be
contribute
there.
to toxic
People are
masculinity,
toxic.
women should contribute
I'll
to
be
toxic
there,
At the end of the day,
People
I'm
are
gonna have the
toxic.
microphone
People are
closed.
toxic.
narcissism, sociopathy, and psychopathy affects men and women.
Yeah, so we need to just stop blaming it on gender only. Like, let's just accept that humans are trash.
Yeah, humans are trash.
And let's just try to do the best that we can anyway.
Hopefully
so
the aliens will come and
unite us all.
No, just eliminate.
What?
Okay.
You mean Jesus?
What?
You're actually. Thanks for having me.
Okay, guys, that's the end of this conversation. Next time we will discuss toxic femininity. And I want to see your energy.
You're funny, man.
All right.
Yeah.
That's the end.